I'm Cassandra Knox. I'm the owner of Oleander Tattoo in Ravenswood, Illinois, and you can find us on Instagram at Oleander Tattoo. So it happened kind of organically for me. I was super lucky just to come from like a background of artists. Both my parents are artists in their own rights, and I was just always like very fascinated with tattoos as an art form and the culture in general. And I think that tied in also with my taste in music, you know, being part of like punk rock and metal scene. It was kind of like commonplace for people to have tattoos. And I started getting tattooed pretty early on. My dad took me to get my first tattoo when I was 16, which was really awesome of him. And then I kind of just waited until I was 18 to be tattooed again, started hanging out in shops. I started kind of just being like the annoying kid that wouldn't go away in tattoo shops that were local to us. And I eventually was offered a counter position at one of the shops that I got tattooed at a lot. I'm actually from New York originally. I grew up in Long Island, and then I lived in the boroughs in Queens for a while. And more recently, before I moved here in 2008, I lived in upstate New York, in Rochester, New York, which is a really cool, like, little artsy college town. Lots of rad tattoo shops there, and that's actually kind of where I started getting tattooed and falling like into the culture of tattooing. That came about like very recently. I've been tattooing for 11 years now in the city, and I've worked at various different street shops as well as private studios here. I think it was kind of always a dream to have my own tattoo studio, and I think it also came out of a necessity of wanting to create a space that works as a tattoo studio but is also like comforting for people and quiet and, you know, not super chaotic or anything like that. And just kind of, yeah, wanting to create my own space after like seeing various different shops I've worked at over the years and kind of thinking more about like what I want for myself and my clients. So trauma-aware tattooing would be similar to, you know, trauma-aware yoga or trauma-aware any sort of practice where you're working with people and their bodies closely, and just being very conscious of the fact that, you know, with something like tattooing, we are, you know, taking the responsibility of having a client in an intimate, vulnerable position, and to make sure that they are comfortable at all times. And these are things that, you know, you would hope that most tattoo artists or anybody working in the industry would be like very aware of, but not everyone is. And the way that I approach it is more so to just approach any person that walks in the door like they may have been through something in their life, because as human beings we all have like our own baggage, and just kind of approaching it in a way that you make sure somebody is comfortable and consenting to the entire process. You know, not only when you're tattooing them, but that they're consenting to the design, that they're consenting to be touched, that they're consenting to even just the conversations that you're having with them. You know, something that I've found that's very important to that process is, you know, not asking people deeply personal questions right off the cusp. And I mean, not everyone does that, but sometimes it kind of happens in tattoo shops and other spaces, and I think it's very important to just be aware that certain things you say, ask, or do can trigger things for people, and you just want to treat everybody like, you know, maybe they have some sort of trauma or some sort of issue in their past. So I think that it's very important that people that work within your shop need to be aware of these things, because again, I don't think that everyone thinks about that on a regular basis. And when someone is being tattooed specifically, you can, without knowing trigger reactions in clients that might not be good, or maybe put them in a position where they might feel intimidated to where they're then consenting to a tattoo that they don't necessarily want, or that they want made different. So it's very important for people that work in shops to be aware of these things going into it. So the event that we're doing on Saturday is a tattoo fundraiser flash event for Awakenings. We will have the following artists: myself, Buddy from Speakeasy Tattoo, Angela Koscal from Dark Heart Tattoo, Pflaumer from our shop here, Oleander, will be there as well, and you can get pre-drawn flash designs from anyone that's tattooing there from 12 to 8.